Hi guys, welcome back to Screen Kings podcast. It's been God knows how long.
Way too long.
Unfortunately, we do apologise, but we are back. We have an honorary Screen Kings guest today. We have one of Alice's good friends, Horatio, otherwise known as Raish, the Theatre King. And we unfortunately don't have Aaron because he is rather preoccupied, but we are going to be carrying on. And hopefully we'll have plenty of guests and Aaron will be back shortly. But so, how's everyone doing?
Not too bad, actually. Just, I'm hanging out my rectum. Are we going to have to blur that? Is rectum allowed?
I feel like rectum's allowed. If we keep saying it, we might have to leave it.
It's the biological term, right?
But, I mean, nice to have you here, Rach, as well.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we start off with the game?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Should we say guests first?
Yeah, go on, you go first. Give us your quotes, Raish.
Oh, right, of course.
So for context, we've each got 3 movie lines from a movie, and the aim of the game is just to try and guess the movie line and also who said it.
I'm never sure exactly the kind of level of nicheness to go for with these. I'll start with the middle one, which is a repeat, which is I am the third revelation. I am the third revelation.
I know that one. Charlie, you got any clue?
I am lost.
Oh, it's Daniel Plainview in There Will Be Blood. Great movie. Absolutely love that movie. I rewatched it with Chloe a couple of weeks ago, and I don't think she enjoyed it very much. I'm also not sure.
All I can think about with There Will Be Blood is my boy, my boy.
And that's the one that I think that does the rounds the most. Yeah, about I abandoned my child.
Yeah,
that's the one at the end. The drainage, like.
Yes.
What's underneath it?
I love it when he bludgeons him with a bowling pin.
Yeah.
There's something really cathartic about it, and then the music starts and he says, "I'm finished."
I'm finished.
Like, sorry for the spoilers if anyone wants to watch that movie.
Hashtag spoilers.
But that's a bang. I'm glad you got one. Next one is better a pig than a fascist.
Oh, okay, I've got it.
I feel like I know it, but I can't put my name on the film.
I'm pretty sure I've got it.
I can give a clue as well. That the character who says it and the name of the film are the same answer.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah.
It's
Go on off.
It's Porco Rosso.
Indeed it is, yeah.
Which is a movie I've never seen, but
I recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I usually love everything that Studio Ghibli put out, so
it's one for the summer.
Yeah.
So that's sort of Adriatic thing. It's perfect for like June, July. And the final one is one that's definitely not for the summer. Why don't we just wait here for a while and see what happens?
Oh God, I don't think I'm gonna get that one.
I feel. Why don't we just wait here for? I feel like I'm so
Defo gonna have to bleep that one out.
The thing is, it's on it's literally in the forefront of my head, and I can picture it, but I can't remember anything. That's what I hate about these games.
It's either the final line or like close to the final line of John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh my God!
And then with McCready, one of my favourite theories. I don't even know if it's just accepted as true now, but have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. So when he gives Childs the bottle and Childs like drinks from it, and then he smiles, and the theory is because the bottle's full of gasoline and some Molotov, and the Thing can't tell. So it swigs it because it's just like, this is a human thing to do, and then McCready knows, laughs, and then says that line. So that's why I read about that the other day, and I loved that. So it's permeating around my mind.
That is a really cool theory, actually. Should I go next? I've got 4. I've got one that I just want to say because it's from a movie that I watched very recently, and it's just a ridiculous line. But I'll start here. Dozens of people spontaneously combust each year. It's just not really widely reported.
I know the film. I can't remember which of the two of them says it. Charlie, you got.
I'm lost again.
I'm gonna have a guess and say it's Nigel Tufnell from Spinal Tap. It might be the other one from Spinal Tap.
I think it's Hubbins.
I know that they're talking about the drummers.
Yes.
And I just can't remember which one of the two of them says it. But, yeah. Do you mean it's Spinal Tap?
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Spot on there.
I haven't seen it, so
that's a must.
You've got to watch it.
I'm not in the guessing category.
And then here's another one. I go to bed with all my friends.
It's gonna be like Sex in the City or something.
No,
No, it's,
I know, but I don't know.
It's not like an overtly sexual movie. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not. It's more of a quip. I mean, I can say what happens after the line as well. He's punched in the face.
Punched in the face.
Yep, he says, I go to bed with all my friends, and then is swiftly punched in the face.
Is this Grand Budapest Hotel?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like, well, I should just guess that for everything you say.
I think that's the third time I've used that movie, to be fair.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit of a throwaway one. It's for every person who dreams up the electric light bulb, there's one who dreams up the atomic bomb.
Oppenheimer, I presume?
No.
Okay.
It's Mr. Electric in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Wow.
Sorry.
You knew he was doing the bait and switch.
I knew you guys would go after Oppenheimer on that one, because it does sound like a quote from...
I could just imagine, what's
the
his
context
saying
of
it?
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to his line from Spy Kids, isn't it?
We got
no.
in one of our one of the plays later this term we've got to you Stuck in the Middle with You. So I've just been thinking about Reservoir Dogs and Steve Buscemi for a while.
That is a brilliant movie. Anyway, this is the fun one that I just wanted to do, which I would be surprised if either of you have seen it, because it's only just come out in the UK, and it was Hardy, I've known you since you were a boy. So I think I have the requisite experience and insight to avert that you are, and always have been, penis cancer in human form.
No idea.
Is it Pokemon?
It is not. What?
Who would he be talking to? Like Ash?
It's from The Holdovers, and it's
Oh,
Paul Giamatti's
yeah.
character says it, and Chloe and I went to watch that the other week, and I absolutely loved
What's
it.
foreign?
I've heard really good
No,
things.
it's an American film.
Oh.
It's kind of a quiet, one of those
Yeah.
classics, sort of like wasn't expected to be much, then everyone's loved it.
Yeah.
So and then suddenly he's like the favourite for the Oscar. And,
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
nuts,
and
isn't
everything
it?
like that. So I've heard really good things. It's been difficult to watch films, but I'm going to next week. I'm going to watch Poor Things.
Oh,
which I'm really
yes.
excited for.
The Yorgos
Sounds quite
Lanthimos one.
Yeah.
I really want to watch that, to be fair. I need to watch it.
Well, after your two, I feel like mine are really bait. I feel like you're going to get them straight away, but my first one is it's not about the money, it's about sending a message.
That's Dark Knight, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I presume
Yeah.
Joker in Dark Knight.
Yes.
Yeah, it is correct. Second one, it made me laugh because when I was looking through for ideas, there was actually the meme. It's just a flesh wound.
Oh!
What's the character
It's the
called?
Black Knight.
Yeah, the Black Knight
from,
in Holy Grail.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
You are correct. I think this one might throw you because it seems like a general quote, but all we have to decide is what to do with the time given to us.
Oh my god. All we have to decide is what to do with the time given to us.
Yeah, no, nothing's.
That really seems like a Good Will Hunting quote.
If only you were correct, because you are not.
No!
Would you like a clue?
Go on then.
The film is based around a ring.
Oh my goodness! It's bloody Lord of the Rings. But which one?
Which one and who said it?
That feels like a Gandalf quote.
That is definitely a Gandalf
Yeah,
quote.
you are correct.
And I think it's the Fellowship, isn't it?
Yep,
Yes.
you are correct. Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
Fellowship's the one I know by far the least well.
Really?
So, yeah. I've skipped the last couple of times, so I've watched the other two.
I think it is the one I watch the least as well. As much as I love those movies, I think that one is too depressing sometimes. I really don't like what happens to Boromir.
No,
It's
is
really sad.
It's not counteracted by elephants as well, which the other two films have going for them. So.
Very true, very true.
But yeah, I mean, main topic today is, I know we're a little bit late to the scene, but Murder on the Dance Floor, people, with Saltburn.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that was a movie that I feel like this is a hat trick of Chloe mentioned. I watched it with Chloe after watching West Ham.
You still watching with your family.
Yeah.
That's always the whole story I hear.
Yeah, my sister mentioned that she wanted to watch it, and then she went to bed, so Chloe and I just watched it. And I really enjoyed it, but I've never been a massive fan of the song Murder on a Dance Floor, but I really felt it was quite cathartic at the end.
I watched it with my girlfriend, but I'd already been spoiled most of the film. And I think it was actually when I come here previously that I asked about the film, or it might have, it was New Year's.
Yes.
I said about the film, and spoiler ahead for everyone. But I just said, "Oh, does he go around and killing the whole family?" And someone just went, "You just spoiled the entire film." But yeah, no, it's weird. I think it's a really slow burner to start with, but then you get enticed by the grotesque and the awful things, and then you're like, I kind of have to carry on watching this now.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it as well. I just thought that it was a bit much at points.
I think that it was very clearly shown in the beginning of the movie that he was a weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me feel like a lot of the things that they put us through and made us watch on screen weren't actually that necessary, because it was already pretty obvious that the guy was odd and that he was definitely a bit of a creep and a weirdo.
I think it's a bit of a sort of double-edged sword that if you're casting someone like Barry Keoghan, who's obviously incredibly good in those kinds of roles, hence why he's casting them, it does mean he gives a really convincingly disturbing performance. But in the contrast, because it is Barry Keoghan, from like the jump, I was like, this guy's going to be fucking weird. And then when he turned out to be weird, I was like, well, yeah, of course it is. Whereas if like they got like one of the Hemsworth brothers to do that, it would have been a bit of a shock, because it's like you're expecting normalcy and then it's subverted, rather than just having kind of the guy who plays weirdos play a weirdo just on crack this time.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit similar to when they got... Is it Peter Evans that played Dharma?
God. It's...
Something
I forgot his name.
Isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it is.
We'll Google this later. But obviously he went from doing American Horror Story and then he's doing all the little fucked up things there.
Yeah.
And then he's come over and now he did Dharma, and that was fucking brilliant.
Was
like,
it?
It was. I recommend it to everyone. Like, if you don't know the story, I won't detail it with you now, but just go and watch it because it is brilliant. But yeah, Barry Keoghan, as you said, Rach, like, he's been in other fucked up stuff. I was talking to a co-worker about it, and she was saying that there's another film where he plays a boy. I think it was with a dentist or a doctor, and basically does a similar sort of thing to Saltburn. And apparently she said, like, that's really good, and that's one of his earlier pieces of work as well. So yeah, I get like where the demented side of it comes in.
Yeah.
And he just does well in all of them roles.
Yeah. But I mean, whenever I think of him, I think back to when I went to see Banshees of Inisherin and how fantastic he was in that movie, playing this sort of very simple guy who clearly had some sort of mental disability, and it was just... Watching that entire movie was tragic. I hated that movie in the best way possible. It was so depressing.
Yeah, I found that really sad. I know this is like, it's not the profound thing to find sad, but I still did find it really sad when the donkey died.
Yes.
That was still the
Especially
trough
choking on a finger.
I know, something like that.
It was disgusting. It was really sad. But yeah, Barry Keoghan was absolutely fantastic in that movie, and I do think he was very good in Saltburn. Also, Jacob Elordi.
He was really good. He was really good.
He's a fucking giant.
Yes, he is.
He's like frighteningly big.
Yeah, he needs to hit the court. The Lakers. I've heard the Sixers need a backup centre.
Yeah, no, we do.
But yeah,
It's your free throw.
His accent scared the living daylights out of me. I mean, this is going to sound like one of those silly stories of saying, oh, I always knew he was going to be good. But he was always my favourite part of the Kissing Booth movies. And I love those movies, very ironically, but I actually do quite enjoy watching them. And Jacob Elordi was always the best part. So seeing him actually start to get roles that sort of appreciate him as an actor, it's really nice. Because I think he's up there with the best in the industry at the moment. I'd say so.
I think there was a thing that the director said when he's like showing Oliver around the house, and he's like, "Oh, this is Daddy's TV, and this is Daddy is this, and everything." Apparently, they just let him riff all of that off, and it works so well. They just literally said they were like encapsulated just watching him act in that little one scene, and they're all following him.
I love the line. Oh, sorry. I just love the line. That's the blue room. It's blue. Something about that was just so perfect. Perfectly, the way he delivered it, and perfectly embodies the kind of old money sense. That it's just a room that serves no purpose, but
to
the
be
fact
blue.
that it's blue.
But yeah, I just thought that it was brilliant. But the one thing that got me, and spoiler alert, right at the end, I didn't realise how conniving they were actually really made him, because I just thought that he actually just randomly met him on his bike, but we later obviously learn that he actually did puncture what's his face's tyre, and like he literally set the chain of events off. So almost, I wouldn't say butterfly effect, because that's like you've got to make a choice for something to happen, but it is sort of like the domino effect. Like he set the first domino off, and then obviously come the 16-year span that it is, that he ends up getting the castle after 16 years. Like, obviously, it's mental.
It was a very long plan, and I don't know anyone who would be able to stick through it.
It is like absurdly Machiavellian, isn't it? Like, I think I would have preferred it personally, and this might say more about me than the film really, but I think I would have preferred it if he was sort of so kind of in love in this demented way. There was never going to be real love, but some other kind of obsession with Felix, that he decided upon arriving at Saltburn, realising he could never kind of tangibly have this thing, that he was going to destroy them instead. I would have found that more emotionally like enthralling than some sort of totally soulless Machiavellian plot. I know it's not quite as exact, but I like the idea. I would have preferred that all of that slow burn, as you said, Charlie, with them at Oxford doing, whatever, would have felt like more important in the end if it wasn't all just him planning, but rather actually him getting emotional attachment, and then it perverting into this much worse thing once he realises the sort of impossibility of actualising it.
I mean, they kind of like briefly touched on it, and there was a load of like theory things about saying how Oliver actually is a moth, so he's attracted to the light, and he always wants to get to it, but then when they finally do, they eat it out from the inside and then completely destroy it. I had two things that I thought was going to happen at the end of the movie. One was completely unrealistic, and I, God for sake, hope it's not true, but I thought generally he was going to get everything, and then he was literally going to like Jeremy Clarkson blow the place up. Like, I generally thought that was going to happen. Like, he's got Saltburn now, but he literally just wanted to bring it to ruin. Sort of like off of what you said as well, Raish. But then the other thing, for some weird reason, I thought it was going to say based on the true story. And I was waiting for it right at the end, and then I was like, oh, actually, I've just realised this is really horrible. I hope this isn't a real story. Because, God forbid, they've just wrote a story about a murderer that's just managed to get a castle to himself.
To be fair, most of the characters in that movie, if you walk outside that door, you'd find them.
Yeah.
I love Durham, really.
It did make me chuckle a bit, because on my train journey up here, I can't remember whether it was Northallerton or it was York, but it said, oh, change here for this station, then it said change here for Saltburn, and I was
it is a real place. It's not.
I was generally like, oh yeah, this is actually real, isn't it?
Jesus.
But no, it was quite funny, to be fair.
I mean, I think that the movie got overblown massively. I think that I was talking to Ryan about it, and he said you've just got to accept and enjoy when things become quite big in pop culture. But I just personally didn't feel like it was as good as people were making it out to be, but maybe that's more on me than the movie for not enjoying it as much as everyone else did.
I think there's just a lot of hunger for kind of zeitgeist films and bits of media at the moment, because like if you talk to sort of people of previous generations, it's always like, because you don't have the choice that we do now. If there was a big thing, everyone would watch it or listen to it or whatever, and then it does become a talking point. And because of the sort of plurality of content that exists, which is a good thing because it means there's so much out there, but it does mean that everyone's kind of on their own trail of what they're watching and when. So when you have stuff like Saltburn where enough people watch it that it becomes a kind of, ooh, have you seen this? I think there's a lot of pleasure in that just for the sake of it. And it could have been, I imagine, it could have been something like Poor Things could have been the equivalent if the stars aligned, I imagine. Because it's supposed to be very weird and experimental as well, maybe slightly in a more art housey odd way rather than sort of hedonistic grotesque way, but still I think people just want to have something that we can all talk about, and Saltburn just sort of became that, because I thought it was mid, I'm not gonna lie. I
hate that a lot of people miss the message behind Saltburn. Like, obviously you've got the end credit scene with Murder on the Dance Floor where he's running around the castle naked. And then like on social media, like rich people that did have like fucking castles and massive mansions and whatever, they were like running around there dancing, posting it on TikTok. And I just sat there like, I kind of feel like you're missing the message that the film was trying to portray here about saying like, oh, he's obviously connived his way into actually completing that goal. Whereas you've all just obviously been brought up rich in those type of houses, or whatever you want to call them, not houses, because they're not houses, let's be honest. But I do kind of feel like a lot of people like that miss the message of the film, and it defeats the purpose of it, kind of. I mean, I know it's obviously it's fiction at the end of the day, but it's just if people understood it a little bit more, maybe, then, or those people understood it, then kind of they would get it. But obviously they don't, because they're completely different part of society at the end of the day.
It does raise the other question, I suppose. The Emerald Fennel, at least as far as I know, is from quite a high income background, right? From quite a posh background. Interesting that she decides to make the film that I know it's like transpires that Barry Keoghan's character is actually kind of like middle class, upper middle class. So it's all of the stuff that he comes up with is pretty much bullshit. Yeah. But nevertheless, for the majority of the film, it does feel a little bit like this quite rich sort of person saying, you know, if they had the chance, they'd do it too, kind of thing. Like, you know, we have all of this money and resources that we're not sharing, but you know, trust me, if any of those types of people got into our mansion, they'd be just as bad. Yeah. And that always felt like slightly poor taste to me. And I know that that's not quite what it is, but it always errs towards the side of that, and that's something I find a bit disquieting.
I think a lot of Letterboxd reviews also sort of agreed with that, because I remember one talking about how it's about how the middle class are coming for the rich people and they're going to destroy and take everything they love and everything that's beautiful. And whilst I didn't fully agree with that take, I think it's an interesting angle to take the movie at, because obviously, if you look at it from that perspective, the movie isn't very good, and it doesn't have a very good message.
I think the other thing you got to realise is that it's not necessarily that he was middle class or lower or pretending to be lower class in an attempt to steal all of that. He was just obsessed with it, and obviously he had a mental disability that meant that he just obsessed over it. Yeah, almost. I wouldn't necessarily call it psychopathic, but his obsession was just that large that he had to have it and he had to do what he did. Yeah. But
sorry, no. Go
I was just gonna say, like, an odd take was before like anyone actually knows the direction of the film. My dad watched it. He said, "I'm horrified," for one, but he thought they were going to be like the rich people were going to be like vampires because of certain things they were saying. He was like, it sounded like when they're in the dinner scene and they're talking to all the people next to him when the dad's got all the Johns around. He's talking to one of their wives and she doesn't look that old. And he goes, "Oh, so how long have you been with your partner?" And she goes, "Forever." And then he's like, "Oh, like how long's forever?" Like, "Forever." And she keeps banging on about that. And I kind of get his point a little bit. But at the same time, I thought...
I am a massive fan of films that just go completely off the rails. Like, have you seen Sorry to Bother You?
I've not.
I highly recommend it.
Really?
It is a film that is sort of at first glance about this guy working in a call centre who has to like use his sort of white voice, so basically like kind of lacrosse playing middle class, in order in a very American sense, in order to sort of telemarket more effectively. And by the end, I'm not going to say anything because the best thing is not knowing what's going to come next, because you do arrive at a point in that film where there is no sense of coherency. It's amazing, but there's no sense of, oh well, this is obviously the way the narrative is going to progress. It is just like, okay, I have no idea, none. And I quite would have liked it if Saltburn, to be honest, had gone down the route of just going
completely off the rails.
Yeah, Barry Keoghan isn't actually a psycho. He's a vampire killer.
He's like comes in with the steak and all that. Yeah, no, I think
that was how we got Jacob Elordi. He didn't actually poison it; just like rub the tip with a bit of garlic. And that was it.
All it took. I would low-key, I think I would have preferred that.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't really get from it is, like, obviously he poisoned Jacob Elordi's character for things, and obviously the police took him away. And what could you have poisoned him with for them to just believe that it's alcohol poisoning?
It was cocaine, wasn't it?
I think it, because covertly I guess the police probably knew that there were drugs at the party. I think they must have just assumed it might have been an overdose.
I think it was.
There is like that slight bit of corruption with it as well.
Yeah.
Like they are the upper class, and they've got a little bit of a tie with them, and because it's just like the thing, because obviously they're all having the dinner when they shut the curtains and it's all red. And he ends up they're kicking out the American cousin. Also, brilliant actor. I think he was in Gran Turismo. He was brilliant in that.
He was really good. He was in Midsummer as well. It was like
Was
quite a
he?
small
Oh
role.
God, yeah, he was.
But the guy's like, that's fucking, what the hell is wrong with this? This is insane. And then gets turned into a blood eagle.
Yes.
But I just like during that bit. Obviously, they said, Oliver obviously gets him out in the next day because he obviously says like, I wasn't the one going around with lines of coke, and that's what sets the dad off to go, right, that's it, you're cut off now. So it's like he got rid of 2 people within 2 days, and then shortly followed with the daughter. And then obviously there's that 16-year gap where the dad then dies, and then he like poisons Elspeth because he gets back in touch with her again, conniving to another level. But
imagine spending 16 years of your life planning to get back in with a family who you've killed pretty much all of. It's a lot of fun.
That's the only part that I didn't like about the film. I get that obviously he wanted to bring it to so obviously it was set in 2006 and then it brought it to 2022 when obviously like he then gets the castle. But I just thought, I get that you can be like that obsessed with it, but he had to have probably got a job, get somewhere to live and do something like that. Surely after 16 years you would forget about it, and maybe that is what happened. So he forgot about it, and then he saw that the old man had died, and then went, "Oh right, brilliant! This is my chance to get back in there." And obviously, like, he found out where Elspeth was going. Or you can look at it on the more fucked up version that he was actually just then generally stalking them for like 16 years, even further, to the point where, all right, he found out that he died, brilliant, and then he's like, I know where Elspeth goes every day for a coffee, and where she does for this and that. But I think I almost prefer I don't want to say prefer, but I think I prefer the latter interpretation. But I do think that in addition to the stuff we were talking about, Emma Fennell trying to make like a class film despite her position, all of it leans into my view that it would be better if it were about a sort of total like human obsession. And that's the only thing that would drive you to stalk someone for 16 years is some sort of desperate, unrequited something that just totally consumes your entire soul. And at that point, maybe he would get a job, but it's always you're almost like dormant as a human being until suddenly, as you say, the dad dies, and he's like, and then he awakes again and finishes off what he's always been waiting to do.
I mean, I guess we also have to remember there were 2 financial crashes, guys.
But in between the two,
the guy was he couldn't get on the housing market. The only way he knew was through family homicide.
That was always the plan. So how do you get out of the rent trap? Murder.
Right, should we quickly move on to the Emmys?
Yeah, just before we do, quickly guys, please remember to follow socials. Everything will be down below. TikTok, Instagram, everything. Just please drop us a follow and watch for more.
Right, awards season. Half of it's done. Should have been done months ago. I mean, we'd planned to do one in September about the Emmys, hadn't we?
Yeah.
And then obviously the writers' strike came through, and the actors SAG-AFTRA, is it? Yeah. And so obviously they only happened quite recently. And I have to say, I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I think it was...
Well, you're not though, are you? Because Better Call Saul didn't win an award.
We'll get on to that. But no, Kieran Culkin winning Best Actor. I really like that.
What was that one for again? What was
Succession.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fantastic show. Absolutely brilliant. Loved every second of it. And the ending is my favourite type of ending. One that leaves you completely miserable, which is perfect. I think the rest of it was fine. I mean, I might have to pull up all the winners at some point, because I can't think of any of it off the top of my head. It was that long ago now.
But off on a tangent of that, I don't like the programme personally, but I feel like a very strong contender that's going to be for this year's Emmys will probably be the True Detective Season 4.
Really?
Because I've heard so many people raging and raving about it, and it's directed by Woody Harrelson and what's his face from The Gentleman?
Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
And yeah, it's like everyone is raging and raving about it at the minute. I didn't like it. I watched the first episode with my mum, and I wasn't a fan. I can see the appeal when every season of it always starts out as like a supernatural thing, and then it's actually like it is a very humane thing that happens.
Is it an anthology series?
I think
like,
it is.
Does it change every year?
Every season is different, so no two seasons are linked, which is nice in a way because you can sort of watch them out of order. But I just don't graft on with it. It's just not my type of TV, but I can definitely see that being like a good runner-up for...
It probably will make moves then, I reckon.
I don't even really know the categories, but obviously it's more like a crime-based series, so it'll probably be in a drama category, I would have said. Or
I reckon so.
Something along them similar lines. But I know that The Bear... Oh, sorry, I'm going to go on to this. We talked about this last time. The Bear is not a comedy programme.
Yeah.
Why was it in the comedy category?
It's a classic thing if they want to give it an award, but they want to give another show another award.
I think that's the thing. I think Succession has been the Emmys' baby for a very long time. And I think if the Bear is good enough to have won all of the drama awards, I think. But I think they just wanted to give Succession a final send-off.
Yeah, I just don't agree with it being called a comedy. That's my only gripe.
The Golden Globes had that with Get Out, wasn't it?
Yes!
They called it a comedy, which is a bit like side-eye.
What?
Yeah.
But no, it does have its funny moments, to be fair.
It
like,
does,
it can be a funny
it's
show,
fucking
but
hilarious.
primarily, I would not call it a comedy. But I think it's marketed as a black comedy, isn't it?
I've not seen it, to be honest.
Really?
I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it
watched
drama.
like so little TV in the last couple of months. It's really bad.
No, it's just a drama.
Yeah, so why is it? Why is it not in the drama category? I get that obviously because of Succession and whatever, but it seems a bit stupid because you've got two programs you really want to give awards to, but then you just plop one in another category so it wins.
At that point, what's the point of categories? Why not just have two awards a year or something?
Yeah. Well, it could be worse. You could have won no awards throughout your entire show's run.
I wonder why that was, because Breaking Bad was like the darling. It won absolutely fucking everything.
And
so it's not like they
I think it was suffering from Breaking Bad success.
Was it just like it was like, oh, go away.
We overdid it a bit, yeah. Even though, for me, Better Call Saul's a better show. I
haven't finished it, so
that in every way it was a better show, and that's kind of like that was the last opportunity, obviously, and I think it also suffered from the fact that it released about 18 months ago.
Yeah,
the second half of season 6 was 18 months ago now. Of course, it's not going to win anything, but of course, I'm going to sit there and hope. But 53 nominations later, that is no insane. Wins. But
that
then again,
like
I think
all-time field goal percentage, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think The Wire wasn't even nominated for anything when it was around. So you have to realise that maybe these guys have no idea what they're on about.
They really don't most of the time. Occasionally they do, but they're just people like the rest of anyone else.
I mean, one of the other things. I mean, I know it's obviously for the actor for that role, but I feel like when you do have like really good programs like Breaking Bad that obviously won awards, and then you've got The Bear and you've got Succession, it just feels like you just have one very good TV program. Like that whole program should just be given the award. Yeah. Because The Bear won Best Comedy. Jeremy Allen White won Best Leading Actor, Male Actor in a comedy role. Yeah. I
think Evan Moss Backrack.
Yeah, he won.
What a name!
He won Best Supporting Actor. The girl who plays Cindy, she won Best Female Leading Actor. So it was like every award that was possible for the comedy category went to the Bear cast and the Bear show. So I feel like you should probably just cut out the middleman and literally just say the Bear wins the award for the comedy category because everyone that was in the Bear won an award. Just as equally as Succession. I think Succession also won all the awards for their category.
Do a big sweep.
So it seems a bit pointless to say that. Oh yeah, so this is the award for the comedy category. Oh, and the lead character wins, and the female character wins.
There seems to be an insanely high amount of awards per Emmys.
Yeah.
Like compared to the Oscars, right, where there's basically 10 that anyone pays any remote attention to.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's lots of other really important ones for sound design and editing and things that a film could not exist without, but at the same time your average film goer is not going to watch who wins Best Sound Design Oscar, so it is quite simple in that regard, and I think it's the reason why all the other award shows, even though TV is probably more popular than film now, still don't get the same kind of pedigree that the Oscars do, because it just feels like it's just scarcity, isn't it? If you give out fewer awards, they feel more important.
Exactly, massively. I mean, I think even Stephen Yeun won a Best Actor one for short series or
they have
movie release for television,
best in a mini series or best in it, and it's just at that point it's almost like if you did something that did well and you were good in it, that was like an Emmy.
I mean, because you could I don't know what the rules are. I mean, clearly they're quite loose with it. But yeah, no, I was really happy about Stephen Yeun winning one.
He was so good in Minnie.
Well, I mean, the other thing. So I've just
That is
got
a great movie.
I've just got up the list. So these were all the nominees. So drama, Andor, the Star Wars series, Better Call Saul, Crown, House of Dragon, Last of Us, Succession, White Lotus, and Yellow Jackets.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the winner was Succession. Best Actor, Kieran Culkin in Succession. Bob Odenkirk got a nomination. Brian Cox for Succession as well. Jeff Bridges. There's so many people there. Pedro Pascal
He
got
was
one.
great. I loved Last of Us. I know everyone did. But
And then obviously Sarah Snook, Succession again, female, the actress, lead role, supporting Succession.
Yep. Matthew McFadden, but that is deserved. Matthew McFadden has been fantastic in Succession throughout its entire run. I think I've spoken to you about it before,
Yeah,
but
he's
his
great.
ability to do the sort of Midwestern, average American accent is just brilliant.
every English actor always puts me to shame, and my American is still a bit spotty. I'm like, I need to work on that because they just do it like it's in their sleep. Did you just watch Quiz? That's what I originally saw him in.
No.
It was it's like 3-part BBC miniseries, but James Graham wrote it. I think he's a playwright who I really like, and he it's basically about the I've forgotten his name, but the guy who ostensibly cheated on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and got to the million, and it's just really good. It's just really good. Like, it is just a really good series. It's really well made. One of those classic things that BBC do quite well, or ITV or whatever it was.
Yeah, just randomly.
They just pull out and it's just a banger. And yeah, no, I do genuinely recommend it if you want like a kind of inoffensive thing to watch with people, because it is. I really enjoyed it, and he is just really good in it.
I'd take back my earlier comment, sorry. The girl who plays Sydney, Ao, I'm not going to butcher your last name, I apologise. She won Best Supporting Actress,
Yes.
not
Ao
lead
Edebiri.
actress, because she doesn't actually have, when I actually think about it, she doesn't actually have like a main role. Although season 2 did give her like, it was like really like
I
her
think
and
it was
Jeremiah
her
Moore.
story, yeah. She's become, I don't know, is she an industry plant? She sort of appeared out of nowhere and is suddenly in everything.
Who?
Ao Edebiri. I mean, I love her. I think she's a fantastic actress. But she is in everything at the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes it all just kind of breaks for you.
Yeah.
The other thing that makes me laugh a little bit is so we're looking at the categories, obviously. I personally think Ted Lasso should have won comedy series because it was funny, and it was intentionally funny for the reasons it should be, unlike The Bear, which actually, as we've just looked up, is labelled as a drama. But when looking at it, I think that should have won. I really like the programme, so I'm a bit biased, but against all the other stuff that's in there. But then I'm now looking at the other awards. So you've got limited series. Beef was the winner, but you have Dharma on there, Daisy Jones and the Six, Fleischman is in Trouble, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I feel like that was probably like a strong contender, maybe a second.
Maybe.
Because people really loved that.
They did, yeah.
Actor in a limited series, Blackbird, Taron Egerton. I feel like that was longer than I think that was more than a year and a bit ago.
The window's really odd for the Emmys, because obviously it's usually in September,
Yeah.
and I think it cuts off at about mid-June. Is when the eligibility window stops for that year's Emmys. So maybe it came out after June in 2022, and it's just lasted that long. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, for the most part, I think they did sort of get it right. From what I know, of course, I haven't had the pleasure of watching everything, but I think on your point on Ted Lasso, it has won a boatload of awards. Like, Ted Lasso was kind of the comedy darling for years, and I feel like, whilst I think that's its last year of eligibility, because it's finished now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's finished.
Yeah, I think
there is like talk of there being another series, but the thing it's probably all like hearsay at the end of the day. God, I'm like, what's his face? Johnny Depp's lawyers. But I do think that they could potentially bring it out, but they shouldn't bring out another season of Ted Lasso. They should bring off a spin-off in another direction. It could even be like you just do a mini series of Ted Lasso coaching football over in America, because that's how the series ends. Spoilers. He goes back to America, and obviously, like, he starts coaching football over there. or you
Real
should,
football or
like
English rubbish.
English football, not American football. That's what he originally was, an American football coach. But
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
It all started from a skit that NBC did for
Yeah.
advertising.
I've seen that
Yeah.
skit.
Yeah, I remember my dad showing that to me at the time. Because he goes to manage Tottenham, so Dad's like, oh, you got to watch this.
It's the joke that he goes on TV because he gets sacked after like a week or something, and then they're talking to him and he's like, "Live." She's like, "It's live." That was
One
made me
thing,
chuckle.
I was watching it with Chloe once, and he starts quoting the Allen Iverson practice speech, and I found that really annoying. Because he was trying to convince one of his players to start playing properly in training, and I was like, that's just missing the forest for the trees. That's not what
that's
Alan
probably
was
the
on
idea,
about.
right?
Yeah.
Is that he misinterprets the practice speech as being pro-practice.
Yeah.
We're talking about practice.
But yeah, should we wrap it up soon?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a little bit of an episode here. So.
Yeah, I think quickly talk about the Super Bowl. I accidentally let it slip to Rory that we are all secretly supporting the Niners.
We might see me with red hair tomorrow, depending on how the day works out. So, to be fair, that could be the Chiefs.
Yeah,
It's
they
so
are
depressing.
both red.
It's so depressing.
It's been a horrible season
It's been a
for
shit season.
both of us this year.
It's been a shit season.
We started off fantastic, and then the wheels fell off of our bus, and then so did the doors and the windows. And I think the driver ran off the bus whilst it was still going. Who knows how it was still going, because there were no wheels on the bus. And oh my god, it was just tragic. This counts as TV, right?
And before he tangents off anymore, thank you so much, guys, for listening. This has been the Screen Geek podcast with myself and Alistair and our special guest, Raish, who definitely will be coming back, hopefully, for some more episodes in the future.
If it's here,
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you so much. Follow the socials below. Put links here. This is for editor Charlie later. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, and see you later.
See you later.